Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game SO. Taking on a fun and exciting episode for you guys this evening because we're going to be reviewing a brand new-ish game, Parking Garage Rally Circuit, which is absolutely a Sega Saturn inspired arcade racer where drifting is the absolute #1 mechanic, and that definitely has everything I need out of an arcade racing game. Awesome drifting, Sega Saturn inspired, some Sega Rally 2 vibes to it. That is what I need to see. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And big bonus points for having Marina Tower in downtown Chicago in the game. I have driven up this once before. It's absolutely an insane building, and I really wish you could do this in real life. I'm sure it'd be as chaotic as that though, and I'd end up in the Chicago River. But honestly, the developer of this game, Wallaber Entertainment, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, did an absolutely outstanding job of giving this game so much fun, so much humor, and so much charm. Even the tutorial stage here where they show you how to drift in the game, I love that the vehicle is just a small controller drifting around a parking garage. It is these small touches that really make this game feel like a love letter, not just to the Sega Saturn arcade racing games, but just basically feel like a love letter to throwing anything you can into the development process to make your audience happier. And I am showing you some of the later stages here right now because this game is absolutely chaotic in the best way possible. It's a very simple mechanic you can pick up and play, incredibly easy to learn, very difficult and a good way to master. Your drift mechanic is your #1 component in this game. Just like Mario Kart or the recently released Victory Heat Rally, your drift and your turbo from that drift is going to be the difference between you winning a race or having to do it again, because you have to get a 3rd place or better finish against the ghost cars to move on. But I will say whatever physics engine this is, and I did not look it up, absolutely kills it in the drifting. You can learn this, you can master it, and then suddenly it's just you versus the course. And I will say, because these all basically take place in parking garages, it is absolutely a very fun layout and something you don't see very often in video games. This kind of reminds me of the intro to Driver when you had to test out to actually get into the game, except an entire game made out of that as an arcade racing concept. And again, you know me, you know the channel, you know I love Sega Saturn aesthetics and hardware, and this definitely is probably the most successful game to ever look like it was running on Sega Saturn, even if it is just a PC game. And as we go back to another stage here again, the drifting in this is just a 10 out of 10. You absolutely can hold your line here. If you just hold down X, you'll keep your arc, but you can move the analog stick left and right and basically improve on that boost. The different colors coming out of the back of your wheels are going to be what you're looking for. You want to get to that 3rd stage of boost so you can definitely get the best overall speed coming out of those turns. And you can definitely flip your car and do tons of other things. And if you have to reset with Y, definitely just restart the race because these timings are tight. This is the type of game that is going to be so much fun to learn. You're going to get into the 3rd, 4th, 5th stage, and you're finally going to get to a situation in which you have to retry a course 5, 6, 7 times just to get past it. But you're going to absolutely love doing that. That's how you know a game is good, when you're failing at it and you know you can improve and you just want to jump right back in and take on the same course one more time. This game is absolutely addicting in all of the best ways possible, and I would say as far as the recent arcade racing releases we've gotten, it is definitely the most unique. Parking Garage Rally Circuit just does something completely different and something we really haven't seen before, and that's absolutely a ton of fun and a breath of fresh air. And honestly, I feel like we're absolutely being spoiled for arcade racing games these days. There was definitely a dry spell where we really didn't get anything in the genre. Now suddenly you basically have your pick of choices. There's been a glut of these games on the market, and the best part is every single one of them has been worth playing and experiencing, and that's awesome if you're an arcade racing fan. And I love just how challenging some of these turns can be. You know you can take that line better, and if you actually hit the wall, you know if you just came back in at a different angle, at a different speed, and started your boost at a different time, you would probably be successful. And all of the different obstacles that are going to be in later parking garages really do make you have to worry about your timing, because it seems like this game's on a global timer, so depending on how you're doing, you may have an obstruction in a different area depending on what time you actually come through. But therein lies a lot of the fun of this game. It's just an absolute challenge. In some ways it almost feels like a puzzle game, except a racing game is happening around you, because you really do need to read the screen and quickly react to everything going on. But that's what you need out of an arcade racing game. Those fast twitch reflexes and the ability to read what's happening in front of you and decide how you want to react from there. And honestly, what else would you need from an arcade racing game than those awesome traits? You need a good soundtrack, because it's as important to the gameplay as anything else, and luckily this game has an awesome soundtrack. Go ahead and listen for 45 seconds. I'll be back to show you some more courses.
Ready, set, go!
Honestly, the music in this game just drives the intensity home, and it is fun, it's cheery, it's vibrant, and it definitely fits the arcade racing aesthetic. Now, if there is one game this reminds me of more than any other game, it's going to be GTI Club from Konami. Not sure the developer ever played that game or is aware of the series, but it basically just takes place in cities. You got a lot of drifting and rally style mechanics, and it is just a little bit over the top with obstacles as well. And you'll see here on the second loop around this course, a different rock falls down, obstructs your way, and that first boulder that hit the ground leaves a divot that you can actually drive into. So some of these courses are going to have changes between lap 1 and lap 2, and that is another fun time. I love a race course that basically evolves and changes depending on what lap you're on, and it really does make you think, what would you need to do next? And you'll see there, I took the silver cup. Trust me, trying to get first place in any one of these races against the Ghost is going to absolutely take every single turn being perfect, which that turn there very much was not. And I love in the New Orleans stage, you end up what seems like a hurricane. There's a lightning bolt out of the sky, knocks out all the power, and now you need to navigate the levels based on your headlights alone. This is pure chaos. It requires your memory of where you've been and what the first lap looked like, and this is just one of those times you're probably going to restart this level 3, 4, 5 times till you get it right. But the thing is, it's a fun restart. You don't feel frustrated, you just feel like had you paid a little more attention, you would have been able to finish the race and move on to the next one. And I do love the challenge this game puts up. And honestly, for a $10 game on Steam, you're going to get way more than your $10 worth, even if in this New Orleans stage here, I'm basically hitting the wall like it is my job. But really right now we are in a renaissance of arcade racing games. We've gotten so many fun titles in 2024, so I really hope this trend continues into 2025, because for every Forza Horizon, having small indie arcade racing games like this really does matter, because it's my second favorite arcade genre outside a good light gun game, and there is another genre I wish we'd see more indie efforts in. Give me some new light gun games, please and thank you. And as we go into the menus here, I even love that they're kind of inspired by the colorways and overall OS menus of the Sega Saturn itself. There's definitely a ton of different cheat codes you can enable. I'm not going to show any of them to you here. I want you kind of to discover what this game has and how it unfolds for your own fun, but it is a great time. You're able to kind of change everything around, and all these screen filters, you can affect them, you can turn them on or off, whatever you want. I am playing it in 16:9 or close to, but you can do 4:3. You even get the option to change around your car's livery and paint, and you can pick whatever number you want to put on the side, so I'll have to pick one of my favorites, of course. But all jokes aside, even the training video level has a CRT television in it. This game is filled with so many small touches, and those add up to be very charming and very fun. And at the base of the game, the mechanics are just a 10 out of 10. And I do love again that it's inspired by Sega Saturn. Obviously this is more impressive than what real Saturn hardware could do. All the polygons have perspective correct textures on them, but it is just that Saturn vibe, and the Saturn seems to be having a big moment in 2024, and I'd love to see more developers actually focus on the Saturn as a target look. I feel like we get a lot of stuff on the PlayStation 1 vibe area, especially if people do independent survival horror games, you see a lot of PS1 aesthetics, but the Sega Saturn is an amazing piece of hardware. It has a very distinct visual look, and clearly the developers here loved it as well. And as we go back to Marina Tower one more time, a big bonus 15 out of 10 for being an accurate representation of Chicago, outside of the fact that you definitely should not drift in this building. But honestly, now that I've seen this, it kind of makes me want to try. And you'll see here in the chaos element, just like in real life I tried to try, I'd probably go through a barrier and absolutely destroy my car. But Parking Garage Rally Circuit is just one of those titles. It's special, it's unique, it's different. It's a little bit of GTI Club, it's a little bit of San Francisco Rush, it's a little bit of Sega Rally, and you add all of those different gameplay inspirations up, and you have a title that is just absolutely a 10 out of 10. Trust me, if I recommend one game to you this month that you need to go out and buy, this should be the one. It just has everything I've loved, and you can tell it is just a love letter to this era of design language and of arcade racing. It's on Steam for 10 bucks. I think that's the only platform it's available on, but it's definitely worth it. I'd pay 20 for this all day long and be very satisfied. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We're done. I flipped off Marina Tower, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.